Right, so the car I'm about to show you in this video isn't just a 750 brake horsepower monster. It is the fastest Cosworth ever. It's been officially recorded at 206 mile an hour and it is unofficially done 210 mile an hour. That is faster than any Cosworth rally car or touring car you've ever seen. This car is the fastest Cosworth ever. Now, I first seen this car when it was owned by Rod in 2005, and I've seen it in a couple of places. I've seen it on a popular Ford forum called Passion Ford, and I also seen it on the TV show Fifth Gear, where it was being driven by Mark at MADevelopments. And on the TV show on Fifth Gear, Tiff Needell reports that the car cost £43,000 to build up until that point on the show. Now, unfortunately, Rod, who owned the car, passed away in February of 2018, so the car hasn't really done a lot since. The car was sold 4 years ago to a lad called Carl, who had Mark from MADevelopments get the car back roadworthy, get it back running how it was. This was always a road car, just a mental road car, but it was always a road car for Rod, and that's still what it is. So we're going to head down MADevelopments and see this absolute legend of a car. Honestly, fellas, I cannot wait. Let's go. So this is Rod's car. Amazing car. I can't believe I'm standing there. Doing these YouTube videos. Some of the stuff I get to see, and this is definitely one of them. So this started life as a two-wheel drive Sapphire Cosworth.
Yes, yeah. That I'd previously worked on before Rod bought it. So it was one of my stage 3 330 horsepower packages that was on it when he bought it.
Right. So when Rod bought it, it was 330 brake.
Yes, yeah.
And he just came back to you and just started ramping it up.
Yeah, yeah. We went to 400, 500, 600, and obviously. What's it running now? 758.
758.
On pump, and without the NOS and without race fuel.
And is that what it was doing when it? What was it running when it brought to?
The record, we never dynoed it in its ultimate running spec. Probably 850.
850?
Yes, yeah, because we had 150 of NOS on it, we had race fuel on it, and it was like a 650-ish engine on pump.
Right.
So.
And to do 200 mile an hour in a old Sierra, just amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I think 0 to 200 was 22 seconds, which was, I think, 2 seconds quicker than a Veyron at the time.
Really?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Can we put the bonnet, Mark, and have a look under the bonnet? So it's got a four-wheel drive bonnet with the vents painted matte black.
Yep.
Quite nice. Nice.
Yeah, I like them actually.
I do.
In the black colour.
It's got the RS 500 style splitter on the bottom. So what turbo are we on?
That's a 9180 EFR twin scroll 105 exhaust housing, and it's absolutely flat out.
Is it?
So yeah, we've got the turbo speed monitoring on it, so we're at the maximum turbo speed they allow on that turbo. So it's flowing pretty much all it can on it.
What is the boost to them?
This is at the moment it's 2.4 bar, but we've run it at 2.8. 2.8 is where it's, we're at 116,000 plus turbo speed when it max is 116. So
is that RPM?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
the small ones spin faster, but on the exhaust wheel, they've got a aluminium titanium. It's a strange combination, and it's got a mass stroke speed limit. So because of its size, it can only spin 116,000 before it starts to want to detach. So they put a speed limit on this version of the turbo. You can get the 9280, which is a bigger compressor wheel, which adds another 100 horsepower. That slows the rear end down.
Right.
So because the turbo speed doesn't go into overspeed quite quickly at the top end of the range. But
and you can see, you've got your heat shield in there for obviously to keep the hot air away from the interior.
Yeah, and there's obviously a big scoop here to aim some, and there's obviously holes in the underside of the wing to allow some air.
Oh yeah.
So we're obviously trying to keep as little heat from that area as we can. So obviously we've got the big intercooler on it, no intake temperature problems, and obviously there is facility for water injection methanol on it. The kit's on the car, but it's not, again, we don't need it, so it's not working. Same, it's got the NOS, but it's not active. And obviously this one's got a multiple throttle body inlet manifold on it now, so it drives much crisper. And obviously the big volume plenum allows more horsepower as well.
It's a nice plenum as well, hasn't
it? Yeah, CDI ignition system on it with obviously high output coils. So obviously it's obviously coil away from plug. So we've still got plug leads. 8 injectors. They're 8 1300cc injectors, so 2600cc per cylinder. But when we was originally going to run the race fuel. It's an E85 based fuel that needs about 40% more fuel than pump fuel. So we had to think of that when building it. So yeah, they're 8-staged 1300cc injectors.
Something that it didn't have when it done 206 was a dry sump.
Yeah, correct.
That's since been fitted.
We've put a dry sump on it just for improved oil supply. So, and obviously no breather system. Well, no breather. You still need a breather system because the engine still breathes a touch. So there's a catch, not a catch tank. There's a breather there, and then obviously there's another breather in the boot with the oil tank, and that just allows the engine not to pressurise it. When you're on it. So and then when you close the throttle, it gets a vacuum inside the engine because it's a 3-stage scavenge oil pump on it. So there's a vacuum inside the engine when you lift.
And you were seeing, like a standard Sierra has 3.5 to 3.8 litres of oil in.
Yes, yeah. This one on a dry build takes nearly 20 litres. 20
litres of oil. That's
an oil change is 15 litres just to change oil. So,
quite expensive then.
Yeah, very expensive oil change. Yeah.
Amazing. Nice. AP brakes.
Yes, yeah. We went through quite a few sets of AP brakes on the top speed runs because obviously it was multiple 200-mile-an-hour runs in its life, and we were cracking discs.
Really?
And because obviously it's the heat soak in one big hit. So we learned to heat the brakes up before we did the top speed run, where the thought process is you let them be cooled so you can slow down and not go into brake fade. But yeah, we were heating them up too quickly. So once we learnt to warm the discs up before we do the top speed run, they were just faultless.
What kind of tyres did you run?
These were on certain, the Toyos were 888s on certain runs, and then when we did the 206, the last one, or both of them actually had the 19-inch. I think they were Continentals because of the speed rating.
I was going to say, with a pot of speed rating.
Yeah, it was quite difficult to get what we call the correct speed rating for what we were doing in the size. So yeah, but you're only over the speed rating on the we'll call them the less tyres for a very short period of time. Where I think it was something like an extended period of time when that's how they develop speed rating. You do X amount of speed for X amount of time.
Oh right.
So
when you were running this car, 2005ish, 2006 was it?
Yeah.
There wasn't many cars done 200 mile an hour then, was there?
No, correct.
Not like now where you can go to a BMW showroom and pick an M5 or something up.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Can I have a look inside?
Yeah.
I was quite surprised, mate, to see the leather in. I was expecting some proper seats.
No, still original seats. Rod always wanted this to be a road car.
Did he?
So it's got the cage, but they've tried to keep it as far out the way as possible. And luckily for him, he was obviously quite short, so I bump my head when I get in it. So, but yeah, it's got the full welding cage. It's not a bolting cage; it's a welding cage for extra strength. So, but yeah, he always wanted it to be a normal road car. So, and he used it as a normal road car. I'd take it to work on Fridays.
Did he?
So yeah.
So you've got obviously a collection of dials there.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So how did you get the speed? Is it a T5 gearbox?
No, this has got a Tremec TKO.
Right.
So this one is now the TKO 600 because we broke it whilst mapping it the last time. It was this power level, so it's now got the 600 in it as opposed to a TKO with the road race gears that it previously had. So there's a higher torque rating on this one.
Right, and what kind of diff are you on at the back?
This is a Jaguar. It actually came out of a Daimler limousine.
Did it?
Because it has a 3.54 posi lock on that car as standard.
Right.
So, but it's the same diff they fit in all the XJS's, the Series 3 Jaguars. Yeah, so
handles the power well as well.
Yeah, all the drag racers back in the day was using a Jaguar diff because it's easy to get one in the back of the car. So it's got a converted beam in it, and say a posi lock Jaguar diff.
Mint.
So, but it means it's very tallly geared. So that's the only thing. We'd like to drop the gear in to make it more, I wouldn't say usable, more fun. I mean, it does 85, 90 mile an hour in second gear.
Does it really?
125 in third. So, it's 175 in fourth. So, and obviously
175 in fourth gear.
175 in fourth gear. Yeah.
And you were saying Rod used to give this a bit as well, didn't he?
Yeah, the stories that all the people he ever took out in the car are quite comical. So.
I mean, I would be nervous, mind, with Rod, a little old fella.
Yeah.
Blasting around the Sierra.
He was top speed king, he was on the road.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's
On the
crazy.
roads?
Yeah, on the road, yeah. Multiple stories of nearly 200 mile an hour on the road. So he got used properly. So it was not a garage queen, it's a used car. So
it's a clean shell as well, you were saying, isn't it? It hasn't really had much work done underneath.
No, well, literally, there's a couple of spots, but literally no welding.
You were saying Rod did do it underneath
So
himself
I had
at some
underside
point?
restoration about 6 years ago now, just because it was on the ramp, and he just decided to clean it up from front to back. So, but yeah, it's a great order. So he lived in its garage all its life. So,
being well looked after.
yes, yeah.
So what exhaust is it on? Is that
This is a
3 inch or
custom made 3.5 inch.
3.5 inch.
That was made, it could have been 2000, by a company called BTB Exhausts.
Right.
And if you look at it, you'll see the bends that are actually welded together. So there's just like they're welded in the middle. So it's like they pushed the into a mould and then welded them together. So if you look at the exhaust system, it's actually stage welded,
right.
not pie cuts. But if you look, you probably see it on the back there. See?
Oh, right.
So it's got seams along it.
It's a big exhaust. It's taking a different route as well. Standard exhaust, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, that was made in about, I don't know, 2000-ish. So they never wanted to make another one.
Did they not?
Yeah. Now obviously it's easier to make 3.5 inch exhaust systems, but nobody back then was interested in making an exhaust system for the car. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. Can we go for a drive in it?
Yes. Yeah. We'll go for a drive. It's only 65 in first.
It's a 65 in first.
Yeah. So.
Whenever you're ready, mate. I feel like I'm sitting in a legend.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So, obviously, the car's not in Rod's family now, is it? Is there someone else who owns it now?
Yeah, a guy called Carl bought the car because of its history. So,
It's iconic car, man.
Yes.
It really is an iconic car. So, do you get to drive this much?
Well, obviously, I've driven it now for a few years, in between the running-in stages of the new engine. But I mean, I only ever used to drive it when we do the top speed runs. So, because Rod didn't want the stress of jumping in the car and trying to do 200 mile an hour on the first go. So he did do 200 mile an hour. We did 201 in it once with him driving it. And when we did the first 201 mile an hour day, he got 198 on that day as well. So, but he lifted off 150, and I shouted back at him to get back on the accelerator. So obviously, I've got the laptop in front of me and I can see the throttle position, and I shouted back at him to put it back on. He got back on it. We did 198 mile an hour on the first day with him driving it, and that's when I did the 201 on the second go.
So, the current record for the car is 206, isn't it?
Yes, 206.
But it's actually done 210 unofficially.
Yeah, unofficially on the data log, we went faster than the Beam on, I can't remember, it's called Fighting Torque, where it was measured at 1.5 mile. There was a beam that you broke through and it measured that, and we'd hit the rev limiter and turned the nitrous off and it slowed down. But yeah, I'm not complaining. We still got an official 206.
Unbelievable. It's not actually as uncomfortable as I was expecting.
Yeah.
It's still fair. It just drives out of Sapphire. Right.
Yeah,
Feels
correct.
out of Sapphire. Sat here.
Yeah, it's got leader coilovers on it, but they were revalved and resprung by Black Art Design when it was rebuilt on the suspension to make it as comfortable as you could make something with this kind of power. So yeah, it's not set up as a race car, it's set up as a road car.
Because like you see, Rod used to drive it to work, and
Yes, yeah.
what did Rod do for work then?
He used to design, I think it was design electrical systems for fighter aircraft. He worked for the military, and obviously covered by the non-disclosure stuff where he's not allowed to say exactly what he was doing.
Well, obviously a clever fella.
Yes, yeah, you're very clever.
So what's your switch for on the keys?
That's the nitrous.
That's the nitrous?
Yeah, obviously it's not on the car now.
I was going to say the nitrous is not anymore.
Yeah, that just allowed us to turn it on and off at will. And then obviously we got a 15 volt not ignition system, but power system for the car's ECU.
Also runs on 15 volts, the electrical system.
Yeah, 14.7 it's selected to run, and it runs that down to 9 battery volts. So it's got the power to support the car down to 9 battery volts if the alternator plays up. And in the boot, we've got another booster system for the fuel pump for when we were going to put it on E85, where it goes from nearly 15 volts to we can run up to 21 volts, but we were going to run 18 volts, and then that brings the fuel pump into the range where we could run 1400 horsepower worth of ethanol, which is 1000 horsepower worth of power. So that's ECU selected, that one, so it will only turn the volts up for the fuel pump if you put ethanol in the system.
Right. I can't believe I'm sitting in this car.
Yeah.
The amount of time I've spent on Passion Forward when I was younger, looking at cars like that, looking at cars like this, and now I'm getting to sit in it. Unbelievable.
It's now got more horsepower than when we did the first 201 mile an hour run on pump, and then it had obviously the race fuel and the nitrous in it. So now it's got more power than the 201 mile an hour first run.
Obviously, all still glass windows, no lightweight.
Yeah, no.
Leather seats.
Always had to be a road car for Rod. It's just a relatively noisy one inside.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all, really. I like how it's not immaculate. I like there's little dirty fingerprints and do you know what I mean? Just where it's just been like a tool. It's a tool, isn't it?
Yeah, it needs obviously I've washed it today, but it needs a proper clean.
You give it a proper clean, but I would never paint it or.
No. I mean the paintwork's still pretty good on most of the panels.
More than presentable, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously it's got a bit of wear on the bumper with the stone chips. So, but yeah.
What do you expect when you do?
It's always going to tear the road up on the rear, isn't it?
That is.
So, but it's actually got because of the long gearing, it's got surprisingly good traction in good conditions.
Right.
Obviously in the wet, it's obviously as hopeless as anything will be. But in the dry, when you get the tyres warm, it puts its power down quite well. So
Can you get the power down in third in the dry?
Yes.
Yeah. Second, just spin.
It spins, but it still goes forwards quite well. So you'll experience that in a minute. So, but yeah, it doesn't. It puts its power down quite well for second, but obviously it's always traction limited.
I'm over the moon just to be in the passenger seat of this car.
Yeah. He did used to take everybody out in the car, so
did he?
He was never shy at running it at full power
with people in.
And some of the stories are it's how legends are made, as they say. How crazy you can be.
So does the lad who owns it now do shows with it, like?
But he hasn't seen it yet.
Has he not?
No, I've sat it in possession since he bought it. So, but in the next couple of weeks he'll have the car.
When did he buy it then?
4 years ago.
4 years ago, and he still hasn't seen his car.
Yeah. It was an
unbelievable,
unfinished project. So.
But he hasn't even been down for a look at it.
No.
Well,
so, but obviously, I've clearly taken too long to finish it. Hence why it's now full steam ahead on it. There's only a couple of little bits left to do, tiny little bit of mapping left to do. Yeah, then it's literally ready for him.
So what's his plans with it, do you know?
Just use it as a road car.
Just pop about in it?
Yes, yeah. He'll enjoy it and run it at power. And
that's what I would do with it, to be fair, if I owned this. I would let my daughter in it with ice creams, I would go to
I think he wants his wife to drive it.
Does he really?
Yeah. He has said he wants her to drive it.
That's a free of mine. I wouldn't let my girlfriend drive it.
We do have a selectable power switch, so we drop it down to 1.6 bar a boost.
Jesus Christ! How's he? Jeez! I was not expecting that in a two-wheel drive stuff. That was unbelievable how that just took off there, mate.
That was second gear. So
I
as you
felt
see
it
how
spinning and just...
it just goes, doesn't it? Yeah.
I didn't know two-wheel drive cars could do that.
Yeah, yeah, it surprises most people.
God,
and as you
smooth.
see, it's still relatively predictable with the rear wheels doing. Yeah, goes well, doesn't it?
Oh man, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
Unbelievable. I'll never forget that moment. That was just, mate. Unbelievable. What was that, third gear?
Which one? We got into fourth.
We got to fourth.
Yeah, we're in fourth. That's when you screamed.
God, mate. What size tyres are on the back?
2, 3, 5, 40, 18s.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Fellas, I've drove 5 hours to come see this car, and that was absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. I've got a 5-hour drive down and a 5-hour drive back, and that was worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mate, I'm so glad. I'm so glad I got to come out in this car.
Yeah, and you got it run at the power as well.
I know.
So. But as you see, it's response $3,000. It's not laggy, laggy for such a big turbo.
Has it got anti-lag or anything like that? No.
No.
I know you've got a launch control switch.
Yes, yeah, that's based on front wheel speed. So yeah, we can go into launch, and you just phase in the power.
Right. Has it got boost biking or anything like that?
No, we could have put it on, but Carl didn't want it. So
it's just full boost in every gear.
Yeah, he obviously wants to go out and grill the tyres up.
Mate, I love Cosworths, mate, you know, honestly. When I come out with stuff like this.
Yeah. Good fun.
Amazing. Mate, thanks so much for that. Thanks for just taking us out, and thanks to the new owner Carl as well for letting us do the video. I'll leave links. You've got a Facebook page and an email, Mark?
Yep.
I'll leave links to Mark's social media and email address below if you want to get in touch. But mate, yet again, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, fellas, and I'll catch you on the next one. Amazing, mate. Amazing.
Yep.